Now, there's continued pessimism that a deal can be reached between the UK and EU Brexit negotiators on future trading arrangements before tomorrow's deadline. A British government source said tonight that as things stand, the offer on the table from the European Union remains unacceptable. It comes as a former Conservative Defence Minister said the government's decision to put the Royal Navy on standby to protect British fishing waters in the event of a no-deal Brexit is undignified and irresponsible. Here's our political correspondent, Ian Watson.
In Brussels, the briefest of glimpses of the UK's chief negotiator. He's locked in talks behind closed doors with his EU counterparts to see if a deal is possible in the next 24 hours. But indications tonight are not positive. A government source told the BBC talks are continuing overnight, but as things stand, the offer on the table from the EU remains unacceptable. So the mood around the talks, like the weather, is rather gloomy. In fact, the only agreement that might be reached this weekend between Downing Street and the EU is to halt the negotiations and move towards no deal. Downing Street says to reach agreement, the EU must recognise that the UK is now a sovereign nation. Theresa May's de facto deputy, when she was Prime Minister, is urging both sides to focus on avoiding no deal.
We're coming to the last knockings now, so obviously it's getting very tense and quite emotional. I would advise both sides to keep talking up to, and if necessary beyond, the final hour, because while there's talk, there's hope.
And is this what no deal with the EU would look like? The Ministry of Defence has confirmed that 4 armed vessels will be ready to patrol UK waters if there's no agreement with Brussels on fishing rights. But the Scottish Government doesn't want to see the ships off its shores.
This UK Government gunboat diplomacy isn't welcome in Scottish waters. Now, we will protect our fisheries where necessary. Police Scotland and Marine Scotland have primacy to do that. But we won't do that by threatening our allies, our NATO allies, in fact, our friends, our neighbours.
Brexit deadlines have come and gone before, but this weekend's talks in Brussels could finally answer the question, deal or no deal? Ian Watson, BBC News.
Well, let's get the very latest from our Europe correspondent, Gavin Lee, who's in Brussels. Gavin, pretty glum on this side of the channel. Are they equally as pessimistic where you are?
Well, Clive, from the conversations we've had in Brussels today, a sense of optimism that there will be a trade deal is in short supply. And one European Council official told me that this should be called No Deal Eve. That gives you a sense of how sort of bleak some are about the chances. But these aren't the people in the room right now, and we're told that those talks are still going on into the night. The two chief negotiators have left, but other negotiators are still going through, and they will continue tomorrow as well. Now, on that issue as well that emerged today, confirmed by the Ministry of Defence, that there will be those 4 patrol boats, those Navy boats, available in the Channel. It's been met with some European reaction, including by the French press suggesting it's sabre-rattling, but the Elysée, the source for the French government today, is saying, well, effectively shrugging it off, saying that they will keep calm and carry on. So 24 hours to go. This is a self-imposed deadline. Remember, they could carry on, but we may see tomorrow an end to these talks.
OK, Gavin, thank you. Gavin Lee there in Brussels. Now, regardless of whether or not a Brexit trade deal is agreed from January the 1st, British citizens visiting any EU country, as well as Switzerland, Norway, Iceland and Liechtenstein, will face new restrictions, including on receiving medical treatment. With more, here's our Consumer Affairs correspondent, Sarah Corker.
With the promise of Mediterranean sunshine, Spain and France have been the top destinations for millions of British holidaymakers for decades. But from January, the rules on travelling to the EU will change, and that's thrown up lots of questions. If you're a tourist, you won't need a visa to travel to most EU countries, but there are limits on how long you can go for. You'll be able to stay for up to 90 days in any rolling 6-month period, but it does all add up. So a summer holiday in Greece followed by an autumn half-term break in France will count towards your 90-day limit. You can still use this. Your current passport is valid as long as it's less than 10 years old and has 6 months left before it runs out. Travellers are also asking if it will cost more to use mobiles. Free roaming in the EU will officially end.
The good news is that the noise being made from the top 4 providers is that they won't be imposing huge roaming charges. But I would always suggest you check with your provider before you go.
And what about health insurance? Free medical treatment in the EU won't be guaranteed.
From the 1st of January, travellers can no longer rely on the European health insurance card, which will make it more important than ever that they have full travel insurance when they venture to the EU and beyond.
And how will people be able to take their pets on holiday? From 2021, EU pet passports will no longer be valid. The government has applied for Great Britain to join a short list of countries where cats, dogs and ferrets enter the EU in a similar way to now. But if the UK doesn't make that list, then the rules get more complicated and you may need to get a certificate from the vet. So when beach holidays are back in 2021, British tourists will need to make sure they aren't tripped up by the new rules. Sarah Corker, BBC News.